welcome or welcome back to another episode of Middle Medesco. Today we have another solo episode, and for the month of August, I want to talk about again different topics and my perspective on certain things. But I want to talk about specifically today in today's topic about the meaning of life, just my ideas, the things that I'm thinking about. Again, this is like barely planned, and I did took some notes and I took a picture of it because I wrote it in my computer, and it's on my phone and the phone that I'm recording right now. So I actually don't really remember what I had wrote, like at least in order, or I know it was like 6 points, but I'm gonna kind of like what's it called? What's the word? Paraphrase or just like go with the flow, like always. And hopefully, I don't go into a lot of rants or like rambles or like all over the place. So bear with me. But I thought it was, I think, and I thought, and I still think it's an interesting episode to do because I have changed, like many of us have changed our perspectives, our mindsets on certain things. And sometimes we don't even remember what we used to believe. Besides, like for me, it's like I used to be a very pessimistic person. I still tend to be like my nature, you could say, is my temperamento, my temperament is like very, I get reactive very quickly. I get annoyed very quickly. So I worked through that. My mindset, I worked through my thoughts can be very pessimistic as well, and I tend to dwell on those stuff. And again, going into rants or into saying a lot, but the point is that my perspective has changed, and even recently, I saw for somehow, some way, I don't know how it worked out, or if it was like the universe kind of like reminding me of who I was. But I saw a video from 2018. I don't know if it was from 2018, but the date says 2018, and I look pretty young, so I want to say like yeah, it was like around 2018, and it was like me talking about life and how I felt very sad and depressed, and I still had those hopes even like with that, like whether or not it was depression, but that sadness and that like low motivation, I still had that hope and wanting to be a better person and just start living a life where I enjoyed and loved. So going back to like the meaning of life, I think I there's it's also evolved throughout these past 6 years, and especially these past 2 3 years. I think it really has evolved into something, thankfully into something better, into a good and loving perspective, compared to maybe if you would have asked me a few years ago, I'd be like, yeah, life is meaningless, like life sucks, life is so hard. And don't get me wrong, just because I may say, like, me right now, at my age 23, turning 24 in just 4 months, I'm not where I want to be, but my perspective in life has definitely changed. And that's kind of, and again, this is what I'm going to be talking about, just to like get into what I'm meant to be talking about, but just to give some context, right? You know, I'm still not where I am. I'm still somewhat uh, I'm very not very I'm not satisfied, or I'm not content. Is that the word? I'm not satisfied with the life that I'm living right now, in the sense that I'm not living like my I don't even know what I want to do with my life. I don't know if I want a career, if I'm supposed to create my own career and then go and pretty much like start a business. And there's so many ideas I do have, like business, but I'm someone who's like can't really focus on one thing, and I get bored easily. So because of that, I get a lot of questioning, like what's the meaning of life? What am I supposed to be doing? What's the purpose? Blah blah blah. So to get into my main points, because now I am in minute 5. Right, to get into like what I think at the age of 23, with the experiences that I've had, the mindset changes that I've had, what do I think is the meaning of life right now? And from what I remember, I had 6 main points, and the main one, or one of the main ones for me, is like to not put a lot of pressure into the expectations that you have about yourself, about life, about the outcomes, the expectations on society from your family and stuff like that. And it's really like more about enjoying the small moments, enjoying the whether it be like enjoying nature, enjoying the moments of like the little things, or just like your own personal growth of the changes that you've made, the mindset changes that you've made, the wanting to be a better person, and then go. It also goes into a lot of areas like relationships. So like not only relationships with like romantic relationships, but relationships with your family, like setting setting boundaries and healing your inner child and healing generational trauma and making it lower for the next generations, and like all of these, like celebrating your wins, enjoying the small moments. I feel like that's one of the main things that brings us happiness, because when we look back, it's like, oh, like damn, like I used to be this person, now I'm this person. I used to, be broke, and now I'm not broke. And I used to have a really bad relationship with my parents, and now I have either a better relationship or an amazing relationship with my family, but it has evolved nevertheless. And just celebrating those things and seeing the transformation on all in all of these areas, like manifestation, the things I wanted, I have attracted it to my life, and now they're here with me. And I think it's really a lot about that, just enjoying the small moments. I feel like that's really the meaning of life, just doing what you're passionate about. And this kind of like goes with like other points that I had. Just and like another one was like doing what you love, and again having no expectations, because everybody here is learning, like literally every single, even the greatest artists, the greatest actresses and actors, the best producers, the directors, people who won Oscars and stuff like that. Like these people, they themselves are also learning about life. They don't have all the answers. They still go through struggles. They still go through depression or family moments, where again they're still learning. And sometimes we think like, oh, if we get to that position, or we make this amount of money, or we have this like car, or we have this certain lifestyle, that our life is going to be fine. And from what I've seen, and from the little things that I've experienced, like trips I thought was going to change my life, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be it. Like from here, I'm going to be motivated, and I'm going to have so much momentum, and I'm going to not procrastinate no more. And then I did the trip, the Texas trip, and I was like, I came back from it, and then it's like there was no momentum, there was no like wanting to do more, even though I already knew what the possibilities were and the things I manifested throughout the trip. So you think certain things are gonna make you happy, but in reality, most of the time they're not. It's the journey. It's the little habits that we accumulate, the gratitude that we give, and that we say, and that we feel. And so I feel like, again, all of these things that go with the meaning of life, like gratitude is such an important thing for. It's like there's like this car that keeps going around. I feel like there's this girl learning how to drive. So it's funny because they keep passing every single time. And like they're seeing me record, but or maybe not. Maybe she's actually focused, and she should be focused on driving. But nevertheless, like gratitude is a very important thing. Also, like with the meaning of life, I feel there's it's like interconnect. I personally believe in the universe, God, Jesus, angels. All these beliefs, and like how the universe is like frequency, energy, vibration, and we have to be aligned. Not only like to manifest, and because I has it's part of it, but also like that feeling of peace, of love, of harmony, of abundance. All of these things are the meaning of life, you could say, because if you don't feel and if you've never felt those things, like most of the time, life is gonna be meaningless. Life is gonna be like, what is it worth, or what's the point of it if I'm not experiencing this? But once you experience these things, you're like, I want to feel more of this. Like I actually want more of this stuff. Like I want love, I want abundance, I want gratitude, I want peace, I want abundance, and all of that is a mindset, and I think like that in itself is the meaning of life, because then from there you attract what you want. And that even leads me to my other point of, you like the point of one of the points of life as well is to become your most authentic self and learn who you are, learn what you were meant to be here for. And sometimes it's not one specific thing, but there's a lot of things. Or maybe it could be as simple as you made an impact in somebody else's life. And for some people it's like that's the whole point of their life. If I could only help one person and one person, personally, I'm like, no, let's try to help more people. And I wouldn't. I maybe this is like a question we could ask ourselves. Like, do you think, or we could like, not debate, but have a conversation about like whether like one, because some people say like if I could help one person, like that was worth it. But maybe you're just saying it to say it, I don't know. But I think it's an interesting conversation to have. Like, do you agree with that? Do you not agree with that? Or they're just saying it to say it, and maybe I'm just taking it a bit too extreme of like they really believe that. But it's like to help other people, like to communicate and to build a community and help each other out and just improve in the sense of like of getting into your own authentic self. And I think that's like one of the hardest things for all of us. Even like now I can't say I am my most authentic self because I'm still learning about myself. I'm still trying to find like my like the people that like my community and people where where you watch those videos of like friendships and it's like, oh, like I want a friendship like that, or I want like friendships where like I want to go and travel together, and then I could be like, oh, do you want to go travel like X month? And they're like, yeah, I'm down. And then like they all go like, I want like I want stuff like that. And so even like that I'm still working on, or I'm still attracting. So it's a lot of like trial and error, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm going into rambles again, into I'm going all over the place. But so it was being your most authentic self and like trying to figure out who your community is, and find people that you can, and that's really what it is, like with who you connect with, and feel that love, feel that peace, feel that abundance, and wanting to grow together. And sometimes you might not even agree in everything. Like, it's not gonna be like your twins, but it's like people you really enjoy, and who can be like direct, but who will also be loving, and who have like these amazing conversations, and have these amazing experiences and moments together. I think that's like a lot of that as well. I'm trying to remember what other thing I said or I wrote down on my paper. So the first one was what was the first one? Is enjoying the small moments. Enjoying the small moments. The second one was, what was the second one? I really need to prepare more. I don't remember what the second one, but um, oh, feeling like these feelings of abundance, peace, love, being connected with the universe. I believe again there's a higher power, and when we connect with this higher power, we feel this love and peace and this guidance of letting us know, okay, like this is where you should be going, and you get these messages, whether it be through angel numbers, like a voice, a feeling. There's like those I think they're called clarividencias. I'm not really sure. And then also like being your most authentic self. And and also I mentioned towards the beginning, the finding what you're passionate about, and that goes with like being your authentic self. And again, it's something, one of the main things that we all struggle with, because I feel like if we will do what we want to do without letting fear take control, like things will be completely different, because then ego will not be ego and ambition will not be a part of our decision making, because sometimes people want like these material stuff and these power because they haven't worked on their inner child, and be like, oh, you know what, I want this power because I want validation from this person or X person, and they haven't worked through it, so they, hurt people. That saying of like hurt people or something like that. So it's all interconnected. And then there's las leyes del universo, the laws of the universe, or like resonancia, la de is it unidad, generación, which is like you're your own co-creator. And I think that's another, that being, you co-create your own reality. Like you are responsible for the things that you're living. For the most part, obviously there's gonna be things that come your way where you can't really control, but there's stuff that you can control, and that's especially your thoughts, what you feel, and what you do. So how your reactions and stuff like that, and all of those lead you. Is that even part of like the meaning of life? But that's definitely part of like living life. So it's an interesting thing. I feel like I'm going all over the place, but again, this is Andrea from from 2024, 23 years of age, and even like, and I maybe like one last thing that I could say about the meaning of life is is again going with back to the being your authentic self, and not letting fear stop you from doing certain things. Because honestly, I could look back at this video and be like, yo, you're so embarrassing. You don't even know what you're saying, and you're a bad communicator. Like you can't even, you don't even know what you're saying, and you're going all over the place. Like, what are you doing and why are you posting this? But at the end of the day, like, this video is probably gonna have like what, like max 50 views from when, maybe like in 2 years it'll probably have like 100. Like, people are not gonna, and maybe like this is me going to like limiting and scarcity and minimizing my stuff. But from my analytics, I'm not getting a bunch of views. And yeah, maybe it's because I have to work on a bunch of stuff. But maybe that one person who saw like, oh, like it's interesting that she sees life this way, or that she sees, um, I think differently about this, and I didn't see it that way. Maybe I should look into it more. Or maybe you comment down below and be like, you know what, I don't agree with this. I see it this way, and then we could have a conversation, or I could think about it and reflect about it and see like, do I agree with this person or not? Do I stand with my point, or am I gonna change how how about this specific thing that he or she talked about, or that they talked about? So I think it's very interesting because like we shouldn't take life completely serious. Like, obviously there's like certain things that we, as much as we would like to be delusional about, there's stuff that we have to do, especially every month, like paying our bills, rent, utility bills, subscriptions, our health. Like, we need to take care of our health. And so, we have to, still do those things. But that doesn't mean that the meaning of life is of suffering and enslaving ourselves to a job that we hate. Like, no, like, I feel like that's not the meaning of life. Like, I feel like maybe like before I used to think of that, and that's one of the things I was really scared of, was, thinking that I had to work a 9 to 5 for with like people who weren't passionate about their job and what they were doing and the impact that the company was doing. And that's probably one of the reasons why I've struggled so much in finding my purpose, or finding like the thing that I should be working on, where it would actually lead to me making money, so I could like be stable, and then from there start working on increasing or going towards the lifestyle that I want to achieve. But I'm pretty sure now, like, life is definitely not about suffering, or it being hard. Life could be very simple. You just gotta know, or we just gotta know what we want. We have to reflect and be like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want, and this is why I want it. Because sometimes we say, oh, I want a Porsche, or I want a Porsche. Is that how you say it? Or I want like a BMW, or I want a Ferrari, or a Ferrero chocolate. Sorry, I don't know a lot. I don't even know what I'm talking about cars. I don't even know much about cars. And and we say we want these things, but it's like, do we really want this? Like, why? First of all, why do we want this thing? And second of all, once you get it, like, what's gonna happen? Because you could say, oh, I want this $100,000 car, but but once I have it, can I afford the monthly payments? Can I afford insurance? Can I afford having it in the area that I live in? Because I'm pretty sure if I were to buy a Ferrari or whatever expensive car in my neighborhood, it might not be the best decision. So you also have to think about those things like long term. Is this a good idea? Should I, if I do, if I really, really want this expensive car or whatever like thing you want that might seem expensive or you might actually question like, do I really want this? Then, you also have to look at these other things of like bills, monthly bills that come afterwards. Like, what's the like it's not just gonna be that impact of, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna get this car and that's it. Like, no, there's ripple effects that happen within that gas money. Like every month, like gas is not cheap, so we have to think about these things. So, but that doesn't mean that you can't have it. That just means that you're now gonna have more clarity and you're gonna have a why and you're gonna have even more motivation to have that car, because if it's a meaningful thing, then obviously you can buy your car, but you know the consequences, and consequences are not good or bad. They're just consequences to the decisions that you make. So that's the meaning of life for now. There's probably a lot of stuff that I could be adding. There's a lot of things that I probably like should have mentioned, but it's a lot about healing, a lot of being your authentic self, connecting with that higher power in whatever way, like whatever, like whether it's like religion, spirituality, um, but just I think it's having that feeling of love, of peace, of abundance, getting into that state, connecting with the higher power, living your most authentic life, and doing the things that you're passionate about, and working on our mindset like of breaking those limiting beliefs, whether it'll be like from our own perspective or from generational like trauma or generational perspectives that were then given to us, and now we are starting to change that. Because I'm pretty sure nobody in my family nobody in my family is making like YouTube videos, and there's like people in my family who do want to do either YouTube videos or social media content, and then fear, mostly fear, is not letting them do these things because they don't have either like the confidence, or they don't like how they look, or they don't like their voice, and it's like, man, I don't like none of those stuff either, but I'm still doing the thing. And like I think that's what makes a difference. And even we could talk about that in another episode, because sometimes we do this stuff where like when we talk to other people, it's like, damn, like they're actually scared about these things and I'm not. But then we start questioning not those things, but I'm not making money. When am I gonna be like financially stable, or start making at least like the amount of money I need to survive? And then another thing, like survival is not it. Like we are not meant to just survive in this world. Like there's so much beauty and there's so many things that we gotta see, where, and again, it's not for everybody. You gotta know your own, like what lifestyle you want, and that's where again quite a lot of questioning comes in. But a lot of us, a lot of maybe before or still believe that life is about suffering and working hard and living day to day. When in reality, that's just society. That's what society and our generations have lived and is telling us to do, and that's how we've been programmed. But it stops here. It stops here. We are, especially when in this like consciousness awakening, we start to have more responsibility, and some people don't want that responsibility. And I get it. It's easier to live in oblivious, or live oblivious. I'm sorry, I forget about my English words. But you know how they say like ignorance is bliss, is because you have less at least that's my perspective, is like you have less responsibility in the sense where you just have to go to work. You could do your hobbies, and you could be like that negative person, that pessimistic person who's always complaining about life, and like the victim mentality. or you could choose, or the Matrix, you choose, I don't know, whatever pill is like where you're conscious and now you gotta take responsibility for your life, and you gotta start making that change. So yeah, that's the meaning of life for me as a 23-year-old turning 24 in 4 months, which is pretty crazy. I'm turning 24, and I think even age is another factor like that we could talk about further, like expectations and stuff like that. But it's really really interesting, just like thinking about like what is the meaning of life, like what's the point, and sometimes it can get like very like, man, like just end it here. But then there's like certain things that happen, or like things that you see, or beautiful sunsets, or even I can, when you're scrolling on TikTok and you see these beautiful mountains and these beautiful lakes, and it's like, man, I can't die until I see these things. Like there's like, I don't know if y'all believe in reincarnation, but like, there's also that's also like one thing I've heard about me. I don't even know it's like part of the meaning of life, but uh like if you believe in numerology as well, based on like your certain dates on like your birthday and stuff like that, you're you have like your purpose, like your purpose in life, like in the sense of like what you have to, like why you were here, like the big thing, like the lesson that you have to learn. And then there's like mini lessons and stuff like that. So look, she finished learning how to drive. But yeah, I don't know, there's like other things that I still need to plan, like my thoughts. But for now, that's my beliefs in like what life is about, the point of life, the meaning of life, like all these things that all go interconnected. And yeah, I don't know, but this is this perspective sounds way better than like the perspective I probably had like a few years ago, or just like the mindset that I had a few years ago, where it was like very pessimistic and I don't want to do anything. And honestly, I'll be honest, I still think about those stuff. Like it's still there, and it probably happened yesterday, it probably happened the day before. But the cool thing is that I keep redirecting those thoughts. Like I'll give, what time is it? 20. I have one last story. So, and this is from yesterday. So right now I'm recording August 7, which tomorrow is Lionsgate Portal. It's for those who are manifesting. But yesterday, it was raining, it was cloudy, it was like an ish moment, even though right now the weather is amazing. Like it's fresh, like it's windy, there's clouds, so I don't need like the thing to cover the sun. Like it's pretty nice. It's more than nice, really. And so but yesterday it was raining. I had to go to work, and my brother decides to take the car because he has to go to the gym and then BJ's and stuff, whatever. So like it's fine, like whatever, like just go. I'll go walking. But I didn't think long term, or I didn't think I was gonna take that long, because I ended up eating, and because I ate, I forgot to tell my boss that I was gonna be that I was gonna be running late, or I was gonna be late. And so my friend, he like tells me like, oh, are you coming or not? Like they're gonna take your spot away, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm going. Like, should I tell my actual boss? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I tell him. And then he pretty much like, oh, and in between those stuff, I asked like a family member if like they could take me, but they couldn't. So I was like, shoot, okay. And then like me being Gola, I didn't want to pay for an Uber, even though once like they told me the price. I was like, bro, I could have like paid this a while ago. But like all these things, it was like frustration and a lot of like anger, and then like what the heck type of feelings. And then once I messaged my boss, he was like, don't even bother coming. And I was like, damn. I started tearing up. I was like, and I honestly, it probably wasn't even that, but like a lot of mixed emotions were in there, because this job allows me to make a lot of money in tips. So I was really mad. But then I'm like thinking about it, like reliving it over again. But then I redirected my thoughts. You know, I redirected my thoughts, and I felt the emotions that had to be felt. You know, I cried what I needed to cry, and afterwards, after like 20 minutes, I even got into like this anger mode of like, I'm gonna look for a new job, blah blah blah, because I do need a new job, but I really haven't had the motivation or the wanting to get a new job. So I always put it, but and then when I did look for it, I was like, oh, now I understand why I'm not looking for a job, because you know all these jobs are whack, and, and you know I don't really align with none of these things that I could be applying for. But the point is, so I feel the thing, I feel the feelings, and I start redirecting. It's like, okay, I don't know if you heard the farmer's fable, but you know, pretty much like you don't know whether or not like that thing is a good or bad thing. Like sometimes we see it as a good thing, but ends up being a bad thing, and then that bad thing ends up being like a good thing. So you know, it's a lot of back and forth. So this could have been a good thing, this could have been a bad thing. I don't really know, but perspective, it's like it's okay. You know, I understand this person. You know, I'm not. There's no like bad feelings. You know, my boss. I understand why he said that. So you know, next time I need to be aware and like and you know send him a message and not really blame anybody. I took responsibility for the things, and I learned from my mistakes. Like not to be cold. Like if you gotta pay, you gotta pay. You know. So how much time? 30, 30. Okay. But yeah, I think like those stuff like you celebrate those moments, and it's pretty cool that I was able to notice it in just that day. Like I didn't have to wait like a few days to reflect and be like, you know what, you know, it's fine. Like, you know, it was that exact same day in just a couple of hours. So it was pretty nice. It was pretty cool. And that's how you start seeing your transformation. And it's like it's those little things. Like it's not nothing grand, it's nothing like amazing, it's nothing life changing. But those like little changes make a huge difference, which again it's pretty cool. I think there's another one, learning how to drive. Pretty, I remember when I used to teach my family how to drive. If y'all need driving lessons, let me know. But yeah, so that's the meaning life. Again, I keep going different directions, but it's gonna be interesting to look back at this video and be like, oh, Andrea, the things that we've accomplished now, or the things that no, the things we've accomplished now. Let's keep it positive. The things we've accomplished now, the changes, the transformations, the experiences, the moments, the people. You know, I can't wait like to take my mom to a road trip. I can't wait to buy a used or new car, wherever it is. And you know, it'll be really cool to go to Washington and go to all these hiking places, to go to Maine and like see these beautiful oceans. And it's gonna be really nice where like you started you started from the bottom, now you're here type of moment. So it's gonna be pretty cool. And I think I'm more excited about life now. I At least now that I'm making the video, because probably yesterday or a few days ago I was like, man, what is this? Or even like I'm still struggling with like waking up early. But so it's a lot of fluctuating emotions for sure. But when I personally, when I reflect and I look back, it's like, damn, like you live like you're a spoiled person. Like your mom spoiled you. Like you should be grateful for that. And you know, maybe it hurt us here and there, but I know we gotta take responsibility. We're 24 years old. We can't be blaming our parents no more. So again, I am excited for life. I know there's gonna be moments where I go back and I go into a funk and I go into these depressive moments. Not diagnosing myself, just like that feeling. But we're gonna look back and I'm gonna watch this video again and it's like, man, remember when you said this or when you did this, blah blah blah. It's gonna be really fun, and I hope other people like who are watching this, you know, look back as well and like reflect and then be like, oh, I remember when I saw Andrea's video and I was at this time of my life, you know, and then we both look at our progress and was like, oh, we've been doing good. We've been doing good. We've been consistent. We've been working on the things that we've said, you know, and then again, that's just the meaning of life. Like that's a purpose. Just keep living, choosing better every time and all of that. Choosing love, choosing peace, choosing abundance, choosing higher power, wherever that is for you. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited. And before we end, at the time I'm recording this, hopefully I already got a few surveys, but I have an offer to give you, so you could just skip, go to another video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. But if you are interested, I have an offer or where I'm seeing if this if it if this is something I should be working on. I want to do an accountability group, and pretty much with this accountability group, I again, there's gonna be a survey where like how much would you pay for this, blah blah blah. Should it be free, and then certain things should be paid. We'll do a survey, but the general idea is to do weekly focus hours. So where we set a goal, what we want to accomplish in those hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That's gonna be the survey, and see, do I really want to, no, do the goals, like work on that goal, and then accomplish it, or 90% accomplish it, whatever it is. And then doing bi-weekly or monthly calls, again, that'll be in the survey. But one of the things I really want to do is like in-person, like meetups. So during those meetups, whether it's bi-weekly or monthly, it'll be us sharing our wins, the things, we're gonna have goals. We're gonna have like one big goal, and then we're gonna have mini goals throughout the thing. So we're gonna talk about our accomplishments, like our wins, like did we accomplish our goals? If we didn't, why not? And what can, like, us as a group, can we help you out in any way? So I think it'll be, I think like for me, that's the thing that I'm most excited about is like those bi-weekly or monthly calls of like sharing our wins and getting feedback if it's needed, helping each other out. I think it's gonna be pretty beautiful. And then, me being me, there's probably gonna be a lot of things, like maybe like retreats, or getting together, hanging out, stuff like that. I don't know, parties, el baile, learning how to dance together, stuff like that. But for now, like the simplest thing is the weekly focus hours and the bi-weekly or monthly meetups where we talk about our wins and feedback and all of that. So if you're interested, I'm gonna leave a link below. Hopefully, I had already worked on it. And let me know if you're interested. Send me a DM, send me an email, fill up the survey if you're interested. And I'm really really excited about this. Hopefully, people are interested, so I could start this. If not, I'm gonna have to see something else, just so that I could have a product where it's, yeah, it's gonna help me financially, but it's also gonna give an impact to other people as well. Because I don't want to just create a product and like, oh yeah, let me sell you this and like that's it. Like, no, I want it to be meaningful and impactful and to help us grow together. It's not just a one-time thing, and or maybe it is. We'll see. But at the end of the day, I just want it to be meaningful and impactful and influential into your life. I may not have like the most experience, but I definitely do want that community, especially for those of us who have so many interests and don't know, and we don't know what we want to do with our life, but we're still here, maybe creating videos, or putting out content on things that we like, and we just need that accountability and to be more consistent, and just that community. So again, I am super super excited. If you stay to the end of this offer, thank you so much. Again, send me a DM, message, email, wherever it is. Just fill up a survey. And with that being said, if you're watching this or if you're listening to this in Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to subscribe or follow there. In Spotify, let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching this on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, all of that, because that supports the podcast. And with that being said, have an amazing, beautiful day.